everyone. Today I'll be reading a chapter 4 in my books. This will be The Undertaker of Sorrows, and I'll be reading one of the short stories from this collection. Sorrowful Heart 1, Infectious Despair. There's been silence in Roger's house for nearly 2 years, with the deaths of his children still weighing heavy on us all as if they just died. He has their torn clothes with dried blood still on it. His house is as dirty as empty as if it was abandoned. The beds are undone, the kitchen is a mess, and dust covers almost every surface. Things that were broken have stayed broken. The washer and shower are rarely used, and even though there's barely anything in the fridge, the trash and recycle cans outside are filled to the brim. It's the birthday of his son, and Roger has gotten cupcakes. He puts 3 cupcakes near 3 out of 6 chairs. He then sits down to eat his cupcake while looking through a photo album. There are only pictures of him and his children in the album, though there are pictures with the faces of certain people torn off. Roger couldn't bring himself to throw away a picture of his smiling children, so he cut out the imperfections to make it bearable to look at, or rather, easier. Every time he looks at the pictures in a photo or in his mind, he remembers his happy memories and feels sad. Sadness itself is a normal feeling for him, and it shows on his face as the way he previously looked in the pictures and make them look like as if they were taken decades ago. He slams the photo album closed as his emotions are becoming too much to bear. Looking through his mail, he finds bills, junk mail, and surprise. One of the pieces of mail is a letter. There's no address or anything other than Roger's own. The sender only identifies himself as a friend. Curious about it, he opens the letter to read it. The letter says, "It's time to stop your mourning. It's time to wake up to a new morning, because this is a warning you should know, so you can be saved from your woes. You know what causes you despair. Your time for mourning has been fair. Now rise from your sadness and taste the sweetness of gladness. The Undertaker of Sorrows is coming after you. He knows what you've been through. He wants you to succeed, but if you fail, he will do more than make you bleed. Your ways have caused others harm, and the state of your soul is cause for alarm. To let go of what causes you sorrow, or the Undertaker will not let you live after tomorrow." Roger has heard of the Undertaker of Sorrows, but his garbage can, filled with crosses, Bibles, and pictures of the saints, says his view of the afterlife and is supernatural, so he throws the letter in the trash. After eating his cupcake and throwing away the rest, Roger goes to bed in a worse mood than usual. He wakes up later and gets ready for another day of work. Once he's ready, he leaves the house while stepping on the few bugs that share his home. Even though he joins the crowd of workers as he makes his way to work, he feels alone. This is until he sees a strange man in the crowd. The man catches Roger's eye because of the Undertaker outfit he's wearing and his hands, seeming to be stuck in constant prayer. Their eyes meet as the Undertaker looks at him and then smiles. The Undertaker of Sorrows rhyme and plays itself in its head again before the Undertaker he sees disappears into the crowd. Roger rubs his eyes and shrugs off what he saw. When Roger arrives at work, he enters his room, which is almost as dirty and unappealing to look at as his house. The only thing that makes it look appealing are the certificates, awards, and dusty mini trophies from years ago. He looks through old and new emails of declining morale, reminders of better days, his duty to fix it, and to get over the past. Despite holding on to his job by a string, he types up excuses for his behavior and talks about making exercises the company can do to improve morale that doesn't involve him being in it. After typing emails, he looks up to catch a few of his co-workers who were looking at him with sadness in their eyes. They look away, then go somewhere else to carry on their conversation. Roger shrugs and sighs while looking up at the ceiling for a bit, then looks outside his room again to see a familiar face. The Undertaker from before is back, and talking to one of his co-workers. Both of them appear to be having a fun conversation. There's something about the Undertaker unnerves Roger. He looks back down at his computer to get back to work. He goes silent outside his room before he hears what sounds like something being slipped underneath his door. He goes to check it and sees the Undertaker gently smiling at him while waving. Roger waves back with an uneasy look on his face before looking at the letter underneath his door. The letter has the Undertaker of Sorrows rhyme on it, to his surprise. When he looks back up, the Undertaker's face is drastically changed to that of what the Undertaker of Sorrows is rumored to look like, which makes Roger leap back in fear. This is only for a split second as the Undertaker's face goes back to normal at the blink of an eye. Roger keeps his eyes on the Undertaker before rubbing his eyes and opening them again to see that the Undertaker has disappeared. Thinking that his stress and tiredness is just getting to him, he makes himself coffee in his room while also taking some medicine to dull the pain. The workday goes on with emails getting sent to him that advertise counseling, psychiatrists, local church events, and the like that seem to be catered towards him. He dismisses this as the advertisement algorithms that just want him to spend money or join their groups because of his internet history. Once the day is done, he heads out of his room and turns to lock his room, only to find Undertaker of Sorrows rhyme nailed on his door. He rips up the rhyme, then storms out the door. Along the way to his home, Roger decides to stop at the nearby bar but isn't allowed in. In the worst mood than he usually is in, he storms down the streets while not caring about the people he walks through or the homeless he steps on. As soon as he gets home, he slams his mail on the table before sitting down to cool off. Once he's had a drink from the fridge, he looks through his mail. Again, he finds advertisements for things that can help him be free from his sadness, and among the letters, he finds the Undertaker's rhyme yet again. Roger thinks about letting go of his sadness, but can't bring himself to bear the pain. For the rest of the night, the memories of his previous life torture him until the broken clocks turn to 11:55. This confirms to Roger that the Undertaker of Sorrows is a myth. But the Undertaker of Sorrows myth is just that, a myth. A knock at his door disturbs his sigh of relief. He gets up to see no one at the door, but he feels uneasy for some reason. He then closes the door only to see the same Undertaker before sitting in the chair he was watching TV in. The Undertaker slowly turns around to reveal his horrifying face. His face that the Undertaker of Sorrows is said to have. However, it's even more horrifying in person. The eye with a mouth in the pupil along with a wide, eerie grin chills his soul. The Undertaker sits and smiles while Roger stares back while trying to open the door, which he is unable to open. He then moves to the windows and tries to open them, He then moves to the windows and tries to open them, but they can't open or they breakable. The two still lock eyes as the Undertaker hasn't moved or done anything. The rhyme keeps playing and playing in Roger's head as if it was begging him to do what it wanted. Instead of thinking about the rhyme, Roger backs up the stairs while keeping his eye on the Undertaker. Once his eyes are off the monster, he turns to his bedroom where he sees the Undertaker pop out of it. The sudden scare makes Roger fall down the stairs. When he looks back at the Undertaker, Roger sees his children's torn clothes. The Undertaker tears the clothes apart into straps. Roger scrambles to grab the pieces and only manages to catch a few. Disappointed in what he did, the Undertaker puts one hand back behind his back and waggles his finger while shaking his head. The only other possible way out is the back, so Roger runs to the kitchen and locks the door behind him. He tries to open the back door, but that, along with the nearby windows, is locked. The Undertaker's rhyme gets his attention on the table. He looks at it again and feels like there's more than the letter in his hands. Putting the letter down, he finds a picture of his children's graves, along with pictures that his children drew of the family. He begins to cry as the feelings overwhelm him. After he wipes away his tears, he sees that the Undertaker is in the room with Roger's children holding his hands. His children appear to be like angels in glowing skin, with glowing skin and their bodies uncorrupted by their violent cuts. Roger tries his best in trying to tear his children away from the Undertaker, but is unable to. So he punches him which makes his children disappear. Roger continues uselessly punching the Undertaker until he grabs the next punch. until the Undertaker grabs the next punch, then takes his heart out of his chest. Despite lacking a heart, Roger is still living, even though he is in extreme amounts of pain, as his body slowly dies. He is unable to scream, move, or change his fate. The Undertaker then shoves Roger's heart into his throat until Roger chokes to death. Once he is dead, the Undertaker disappears to attempt to relieve another person of their sorrows. So, this is actually my second attempt at reading a story for everybody. The first one was Summation, which was my 90th book. This one itself is inspired by, what do you call it? It was him. Excuse me. It's a series on YouTube, which you can watch for free. Pretty cool, which you might have known about it. Here, Crypt TV's The Luxie. Now, Luxie inspired this entire series of short stories, and if you've noticed, there's no real dialogue in the story. That's to keep it like the series that's inspired by, and to kind of make you think for yourself what the clues, what the little clues I'm leaving in the story are meant to say about the character and the situation that's going on. So that wraps it up for today. I hope you enjoyed it and check out my work. Thank you and God bless you.